52 federally licensed firearms manufacturers throughout the United States will produce more than 5 million new firearms for domestic consumption. An additional 1 million firearms will be imported, bringing the estimated total number of firearms within the United States since 1899 well above 160 million, involving thousands of makers. This is the Firearms Technology branch of the Technical Services Division, located in the basement of the ATF headquarters building. It is the responsibility of this branch to provide technical assistance in the form of advice, information, opinion, or classification on the design, function, history, or production of any firearm that might be brought to their attention.
Hi, may I help you?
Good morning. I'm Special Agent McArdle, and I have 2 items of evidence to be classified.
Okay, just a minute, please. Oh, there's a special agent here to see you about some evidence. Okay, bye. You can go right in.
Thank you.
Among the responsibilities of the Firearms Technology branch is the examination and testing of all types of firearms, including evidence seized as a result of criminal investigation. Testimony developed by the firearms expert through examination and classification of this evidence is crucial to the government's prosecution of violations of the Gun Control Act of 1968. As is the case with all evidence, each change of custody is carefully logged to allow documentation of its whereabouts and control at all times. The technician will first make a visual inspection of the evidence and record markings, measurements, and characteristics of identification, as well as features which, based on his experience, the technician finds unusual. If chemical residue, comparative analysis, or other laboratory tests are to be ordered, the technician takes the appropriate samples and prepares them for transmission to the laboratory prior to any other testing. In this case, flameless atomic absorption will be used to determine if this device, suspected of being a silencer, contains residual levels of barium and antimony indicative of gunshot residue.
Sure can. I have 2 things for you this morning. Alrighty, and if you'll send a report to the special agent and a copy to me.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. All right, now.
Hello, Sam. What do you got today?
I've got a silencer. I'd like you to make me an x-ray of it if you could.
Okay.
In situations where evidence cannot be physically examined to determine design and function without altering or destroying it, alternative means are used. X-ray in this situation will clearly show the mechanics of this device. United States Patent Office, one of the many resources utilized by the Firearms Technology branch in researching data used to establish design characteristics, manufacturer, history, or development of the weapons submitted to them. The Library of Congress, the National Archives, and the Smithsonian Institution are also available. As often as possible, representatives of the branch will visit factories and trade shows to establish and maintain their expertise in the development of new products and production techniques of manufacturers. Another tool which is frequently used in the identification of firearms and firearms which have been improvised or altered is the Firearms Reference Library. The Firearms Reference Library was begun in 1968 with the passage of the Gun Control Act, with the ultimate goal of obtaining a sample of every firearm variation. To date, the collection contains in excess of 4,000 items. The collection is presently housed in this newly constructed vault in headquarters. This new vault, which was officially opened in February of 1978, contains approximately 1,300 square feet of storage space and has a controlled environmental system and several electronic alarm systems. The weapons are cataloged and arranged by manufacturer, type, or by user country in the case of military firearms. The Firearms Reference Library has many applications to the law enforcement community and is frequently called upon to provide known examples of fired bullets to compare with bullets recovered at crime scenes, as well as to confirm the location of markings or serial numbers which have been removed in order to frustrate the identification of a specific firearm. In some cases, the collection has been used to determine the identity of a firearm where only one part of a weapon was recovered. The weapons in the collection are acquired primarily as a result of seizures by special agents, donations from manufacturers and importers of firearms, and donations from taxpayers. In addition to conventional production firearms, many prototypes, experimental and disguised or gadget-type firearms are displayed. Although disguised and gadget-type firearms are often not mass-produced nor widely distributed, a substantial number have been produced illegally in the recent past. They can be a deadly hazard to law enforcement officers and are frequently demonstrated by Bureau personnel to make local law enforcement officers aware of their potential. Firearms that are duplicates or excess to the needs of the collection are often transferred to other federal agencies or federal museums, such as the Smithsonian Institution or the West Point Museum. This workshop, adjacent to the Firearms Reference Library, contains most of the equipment normally found in a functional gun shop and provides the technicians the capability of assembly, disassembly, repair, alteration, duplication, or fabrication of almost any firearm or device which might be encountered or required. In all instances where evidence may be destroyed or substantially altered by test firing, a photographic record is made of the evidence prior to its testing. The examination conducted of the alterations made to this evidence weapon indicates that although originally designed and manufactured as a semi-automatic rifle, it has been redesigned as a machine gun. That is to say, it will now expel more than one projectile with a single function of the trigger. The technician, his findings confirmed, can now complete his report on this item. Examination of this device and the research of the technician has shown that it contains design features which are patented exclusively for use in a firearm silencer, although poorly manufactured. This test will determine if the device will reduce sound, and if so, how much. First, 5 shots will be fired from the weapon as received. The sound level of each shot is recorded and averaged. The silencer is then removed and 5 more shots are made. The sound level is recorded, averaged, and the sound reduction determined. The Firearms Technology Branch has received, examined, and classified over 300 suspected silencers in the first 6 months of this year. Additionally, this branch evaluates and approves for importation all foreign firearms, both new and used. The evaluation of newly designed handguns manufactured abroad requires that samples be submitted for examination and testing. The test determines if the weapon meets the sporting purpose criteria. This criteria, developed by the Treasury Department's Firearms Evaluation Panel in 1969, sets minimum size requirements for handguns and assigns point values for features the weapon might possess. An additional test is required of all importable revolvers. A weight equal to the weight of the weapon is dropped from a height of 36 inches 5 times onto its hammer spur. If the cartridge is discharged during the test, importation of the weapon is denied. The Firearms Technology Branch is the research arm and advisor to the Firearms Classification Panel. This panel normally meets once a month and is the authority which recommends to the director changes in the classification or removal of certain firearms which are controlled by law.
A particular variation of the Mauser Model 1896 semi-automatic pistol. Quite a few of these pistols today are extremely valuable and highly desirable collector's items. This particular one achieves its value by the fact it was imported by a firm by the name of von Lengerk and Detmold in New York, who was one of the very early distributors for the Mauser pistols.
The National Firearms Act provides that the director may remove certain devices from its purview if they are found to be primarily a collector's item and not likely to be used as a weapon. The classification of curios or relics which may be transferred between licensed collectors interstate is determined by this group.
Okay, let's talk about this particular weapon, which is the German MP-40 submachine gun.
In the last fiscal year, this branch provided over 330 man-hours of instruction and training to special agents in the identification, recognition, function, and other technical aspects of firearms. At the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, Glencoe, Georgia, the branch provides 3 different courses of instruction. Basic classes in the identification of Title I and Title II firearms for new agents. Advanced agent classes receive instructions on the more complex weapon systems, with time being given to the explanation of weapons which have been the subject of complex or controversial rulings. The most in-depth classes are given to students in the undercover schools. The branch provides individual instruction in the actual use of most commonly encountered Title II firearms. In addition to training special agents, training is provided to personnel from other branches in Technical Services Division, regulatory enforcement, and state and local law enforcement agencies. This is the National Firearms Tracing Center located within the Firearms Technology Branch. This centralized gun tracing system employs 23 people to provide its service for all federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. The gun trace or transfer history of a firearm can provide the identity or a substantial lead to a criminal suspect in minutes or hours, where other methods may take days or weeks and many man-hours of investigation. Since its inception in 1972, this center has processed over 250,000 trace requests.
ATF gun tracing.
This is Special Agent Jim White, ATF Brownsville, Texas. I've got an urgent gun trace request from our local police department. It involves a firearm that was left at the scene of a robbery.
All right, I have a trace form. Go ahead.
Okay, my phone number is 682-9242. This is a Smith & Wesson 38 caliber revolver, model 15, serial number 2K King 21924. It has a 4-inch barrel, 6 shots, and it's blue steel.
Okay, we'll process this immediately and call you back.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
The trace is dated, a control number issued, logged, and it is passed to the Smith & Wesson tracer.
Good morning, Smith & Wesson.
This is Colleen with ATF Tracing Center. I have an urgent gun trace.
Okay, what do you have?
Model 15, 38 caliber revolver, serial number 2K21924.
You hold on?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Here it is. You shipped the gun to Williams Gun Headquarters, Kansas City, Kansas, on October 24th, 1971.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Trace is logged out of the manufacturer's contact book and pass to the wholesale retail contact for Kansas.
Williams Gun Headquarters.
This is Mary Harris with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in Washington, D.C. I have an urgent gun trace request.
Okay, what kind of gun is it?
This is a Smith & Wesson 38 caliber revolver, model 15. Serial number 2K21924. Shipped from the factory to you on October the 24th, 1971.
Okay, just a moment, please. All right, serial number 2K21924. We show this gun is sold to Trent's Hardware, Topeka, Kansas, on December 4th, 1971.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Goodbye.
bye-bye.
Trent's Hardware. This is Mary Harris with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in Washington, D.C. I'm tracing a firearm sold by your firm.
Okay, can you give me the information on the gun?
It is a Smith & Wesson 38 caliber revolver, model 15. Serial number 2K21924. Shipped to you by Williams Gun Headquarters on December the 4th, 1971.
Okay, just a moment, let me check. Hello?
Hello.
Our records show that we sold that gun to a Jerry M. Cook at 132 West Pine Street, Topeka, Kansas, on December the 22nd of 1971.
Would you please look on your form 4473 and give me some additional information, his physical description, please?
Okay, just a moment. Okay, his height is 5'11", weight 185. His date of birth is 3/24/30. Place of birth is Topeka, Kansas. For identification, he used a Kansas driver's license. The number is H as in Henry, 6384298.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Having obtained the information required, it is now relayed to the special agent for further investigation. The various and diversified responsibilities of the Firearms Technology Branch reach into the full spectrum of the firearms industry of today and its past. From advising and working with the industry on problems of importation, markings, classification, record keeping, and designing, to the identification, classification, and history of firearms, which are the subject of criminal prosecution. This branch stands ready to provide whatever firearms information is required by anyone in the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, or any federal, state, or local law enforcement agency.